With the Citi Double Cash Card, you get 1% cash back when you buy and 1% as you pay. That's like the joy of getting 2 W's on the road or catching the home run ball without spilling your drink. Double boom. Double the love with the Citi Double Cash Card. Apply now at Citi.com/doublecash.
Don Le Batard.
Stugatz is disgusting.
Stugatz.
Yep.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Yahoo Sports baseball reporter Jeff Passan is relinquishing his Hall of Fame vote thanks to...
Relinquishing.
That's what I said. I didn't say it that way?
You said it with a G.
Relinquishing his Hall of Fame vote thanks to Joe Morgan's letter urging Hall of Fame voters to keep out players believed to who have used steroids. Passan called Cooperstown a shining beacon of divinity set upon a hill of hypocrisy.
Wait a minute. So he gave up his Hall of Fame vote? So he did the same thing that I did?
Yes.
Not exactly the same thing you did.
Well, he didn't do it the way I did it, but he did the same thing. I made a big show of it.
Yeah, you made it a spectacle.
I did jazz hands.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making it about, he's not making it about him.
No, but I remember the day we had Tom Glavine on, the day that you gave up your vote and Glavine made it into the Hall of Fame, and he said, you're the bigger star than I am today. Glavine said that.
I didn't like that so much.
I know you did. Anyway. Veteran San Antonio Spurs point guard Tony Parker plans to make his season debut tonight when the Spurs host the Mavericks. It's incredible. The start they're off to without Tony Parker and without Kawhi Leonard in that conference.
They've spent 40 days with a losing record in the last 20 years. It's like 40 or 42 days. That's not a made-up stat. That's an actual stat somebody had the other day. They've spent like 42 days with a losing record in the last 2 decades.
And finally, gold is edible.
Chris, can you look the stat up for me, please? Look up the stat on the Spurs, the number of days that they've had a losing record.
Domino's loves you so much that they are offering 50% off the menu price on all pizzas when you order now on Domino's.com. Online only and valid November 27th through December 7th. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary. Offer only applies to the pizza portion of your order. I don't know what happened, that whole update. For all your latest headlines and information, tune in to the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day. I was having such a good reading day.
You happened. What, you were?
Oh, I felt like I was, yes. I've been flawless today, right? Pretty good for me, by my standards. Pretty good.
Fewest days with a losing record in the NBA the last 20 years. The Spurs, 48. You want to hear second place?
Please.
The Mavericks, 759.
It's changed since that because the Mavericks have been bad, but only 48.
It's amazing.
I have one vote remaining, one big vote in sports remaining after giving away my Hall of Fame vote to Deadspin because it is, what, on a hill of hypocrisy? What did Passan write? It was a shining beacon of purity.
Didn't make me read this again.
Sat atop a
divinity.
Hill of hypocrisy.
A shining beacon of divinity set upon a hill of hypocrisy.
Right. Because of that.
It's a great line, by the way.
It is. It's good. It's well written. He's a writer.
So you have one vote left. Who trusts you still?
The Heisman Committee still trusts me.
Why?
I've got a Heisman vote. Guillermo, what are you're doing a whole private show back there with your hand waving with indignance? What?
Well, he's making this statement saying "Get over yourself, Hall of Fame," while he himself, you could say, Jeff Passan, get over yourself.
Well, he's doing the same thing I did. I feel like.
No, you were more fun. You had like a circus around you in an amusement park. You know,
there was a whole mystery because
Wacky Land.
Yeah, remember Deadspin posted that they had secured a Hall of Fame vote, and there was all sorts of mysteries. Who was it? Who was it? Who was it? And then. Bam!
Yeah.
It was the guy that does Bam.
Yeah.
A lot.
We had no idea. Mike came running in. He's like, "Did you see Deadspin?"
Oh,
it
you
was
guys didn't know
Dan.
either. You guys didn't know.
No
You kept
clue,
that from us.
man.
I
No
didn't
clue.
remember that.
Yeah, you
Wow.
kept it from us. Passan's going to regret that too, right? Because Dan is fine moving on, in life without having any vote on anything. Passan's going to miss that thing. He is going to want to vote on the Hall of Fame, and he's going to regret doing what he did today because other than us talking about it, I don't think anyone else is.
Well,
and after today, the story's over.
Well, this is what happens to Passan, though, is what happened to me, which is now I look up and then Greg Cody of the Miami Herald has a vote, and he doesn't deserve it. He shouldn't have one. He shouldn't have a vote. He doesn't know anything.
Who's getting Passan's vote? I got a nominee.
I can't imagine where this is going to end up. I can't imagine. This Stugatz is going to do. He's going to hire a headhunter and do a worldwide search and find that his nominee is in the mirror. But what I was going to say is I might vote for 2 kids from that USF-UCF game because I'm having Flowers, man, that kid as an athlete, South Florida, I don't know how the hell they lost to Houston, but South Florida had so many athletes on that field. I wanted to snort that UCF-USF game. And what I wanted to ask you is the same question I was asking you before we went to break, which is, can you explain to me, please, the difference between Baker Mayfield getting suspended, because he grabbed his crotch after the Kansas team baited him by refusing to shake his hand and by late hitting him during the game.
Right.
So Baker Mayfield falls under an avalanche all week of coverage. Mm-hmm. And this Quentin Flowers kid had 600 some odd total yards.
605.
In the game.
Yeah.
And on one of his touchdowns, as he ends up in the end zone, he pantomimes, grabbing himself 4 times and then throwing the pantomime contents of pleasure into the student section. And I'm wondering, how is that not a controversy? If we're going to be consistent about these things, how is that not a controversy?
I agree, but Mayfield is the Heisman frontrunner. He is.
So it's not the crime, it's how famous are you?
Well, and Mayfield's got a couple of things in his past where people are making comparisons to Johnny Manziel. I mean, there is, and Flowers.
So it's us.
Dan, I'm guessing there's a lot of people who never heard of Flowers.
So it's about
right
us,
now.
not him.
Yes.
It's about us.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not saying it's fair.
The video is somehow worse with Mayfield because you really see him get in there and he's saying bleep you.
Oh, no, Mayfield digs in, man.
Yeah, but
and he's doing it without a helmet,
All
too.
right, Guillermo, put it on the poll. Which video is worse? Baker Mayfield's vigorous tug, Quentin Flowers' pleasure release.
Is Flowers a guy is he going to be good in the pros?
No.
He's not.
No, he's an amazing athlete.
I've never seen him play.
No, he can't throw.
Oh, he threw for 503 yards against UCF.
That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. That's a very good point.
Thank you.
You seem to have neutered my criticism of his professional play very efficiently.
Seems like no one's throwing it better.
No, he's a very erratic passer, and he doesn't have an NFL arm. But he's as fun to watch as anyone I've seen in that sport. Not just this year, ever. I'm not even kidding you.
Really?
Yes, Michael Vick had a professional arm. Michael Vick, this kid doesn't, he's more of, I bet you they tried to switch him from quarterback because he's such an amazing athlete. He's such a good runner. Just what he sees, everything that he sees. But one of the things that was really touching about him, other than his gesture, I'm sorry.
Don't be.
But this was really moving. What I'm going to say to you is going to be moving, and I don't know the backstory, and I would like if one of you guys could please find me the backstory, because I can't imagine what exactly is in this kid's past. But I remember when Vince Wilfork was in college, Stugatz. Vince Wilfork lost both of his parents within a year. And I'm pretty sure he went through all of that with his wife, who he now adores, because that had to be very hard. Quentin Flowers, the quarterback for the University of South Florida, was at senior day, and he had no parents there with him. And so Charlie Strong was kind of holding him up as he was there crying. And I don't know the backstory of why his parents are no longer with us.
Father died in a drive-by shooting when he was 7 years old, and mom died of cancer in 2012.
It was powerful to see Charlie Strong. That's the best stuff in sports right there. To have a kid alone on senior day, and Charlie Strong is right next to him, burrowed in, holding him up on senior day as the kid was emotional. It was really.
It's all. I mean,
yeah, it was awesome.
The circumstances around it are horrible.
Right?
But
but it was awesome to watch. It was awesome to see that that sports give you that moment that doesn't, it doesn't fix anything with the finality of death, but just gives you a moment of moving. which he then later gave you in the game when he was in the end zone celebrating a touchdown. You know, I'm here for that. The electric slide, I would have loved if the Eagles had all done that celebration in unison instead of the electric slide. What do you think, Stugat? What do you think? I would love the interview afterward to be about, yeah, Carson, what was that? The gesture you guys were doing of like pleasuring yourself. What? I don't know why.
Boomer
Chris of Gruden there. I don't know what was it.
I was a reporter that was uncomfortable asking a question that had sex in it. And then I became Chris Berman. Yeah, it was very weird what happened there. I'm sorry.
Awkward transition. Time for some ass.
That wasn't even the most awkward transition in that whole thing. I had like 2 or 3 others. Yeah.
Don Le Batard.
Is Mr. Pibb still out there?
Pibb is still going, man. It's owned by Coca-Cola, and it's still going strong. In fact, they just came out with a Pibb Extra. Coke owns everything, man.
Stugats.
They don't really own Dr. Pepper. They own Dr. Pepper's rights in Europe only.
Right.
Dr. Pepper Snapple Group owns Dr. Pepper.
Stugats, how do you read the internet so poorly?
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Guillermo, put it on the poll, please. Should Schiano get the full buyout? Because if he is fighting for it, and Stugat says he should fight for it, if you're just joining us and haven't heard the news, Tennessee had settled on Schiano as their coach, and then there was a very mild protest. I mean, it was like one bed sheet and somebody threw a mattress. It was worse when Lane Kiffin left. There were burning mattresses.
Correct.
We did a day of shows. Why is it when white people do it, it's not called a riot? And we did a whole thing of like, burning mattresses. That's a riot. You got a burning mattress, you got a riot. Like that's it. We did a whole show where we were looking for the rules on what is a riot. And so that was not what got Schiano overturned. But they just realized, oh no, we were about to hire Greg Schiano, and now because they had signed some paperwork, he wants his full buyout. Allegedly, reportedly. Well, according to a text I got.
Right.
Hearsay.
He should absolutely get the entire buyout.
A text from a listener, not a text from a source, a text from a listener who's alleging.
You got to go for as much as you can get, right? Like, he did nothing wrong here. Maybe he did something wrong. If he did, we'll never know about it because there are some pretty bad allegations.
No.
Okay?
Yes, well, this is because he was on one of the Paterno staffs, but he's working in college football.
Right.
Like, he's got a job now. He's not Art Briles.
Right.
Like, banned from...
And he's denied. Like the story is, Mike McQuarrie, who was a coach there, said that Greg Schiano saw Sandusky in the shower. Right, it was a third-hand story, which everyone has denied. Bill Belichick has come out and he has vouched for Greg Schiano. And so was Urban Meyer, of course, because he was his defensive coordinator.
I think you just merged the words vouched and vowed and made it vouched.
I probably did
Belichick
that. Yeah. No, I probably did that. I mean, just
he did though. Belichick decided to vouch for
vouched.
And by the way, we should say all of this is speculation because no one's actually confirmed that he indeed signed the memorandum. It's just all hearsay.
I'm more interested in the hypothetical than the facts. We let's put all the qualifiers out there. We don't know what we're talking about, and we're largely joking around and spoofing sports radio.
Yeah, what I was doing there was not being concerned about your sensibilities.
We are not a journalism entity. We work for Disney and ESPN. We ourselves are not a journalism entity.
But Mike, both sides signed. You're Greg Schiano. What do? You go for the buyout, don't you?
I don't know what to believe because there were all these reports yesterday that he also was getting cold feet about it because he saw the reaction. Like, I don't want to go there if they don't want me this badly.
Well, you don't want this next to your name, though. None of this is something that you want waved around if you're the university or if you're him. And so do you want to fight over this? Because you can make the argument, I'm owed that money now because look at what you just did to my career. Like, look, this is a shame on my resume, and all I did was sign up to work for you guys. I didn't.
Right.
This was everyone knew that this came out during the testimony during the biggest scandal in the history of sport.
He's not getting a job again. I mean, Mike, no one wants him because he's a bad coach. It has nothing to do with this Sandusky stuff. It has everything to do with the fact that he's a bad football coach or perceived to be a bad football coach. So he's not getting a job again. Dan's right. Yeah. Like, he's not because every fan base will point to this. right? They'll latch on to the same thing Tennessee did.
He might have a case for lost wages because the one time he signed a deal or agreed to a deal with the university, this got dragged out there where a lot of people didn't even know this was part of it because it wasn't really confirmed.
This has to be very frustrating to him.
Of course.
But I mean, so if he's angry, you go and get money.
Yes. Even if you're not angry.
How is that for the height of incompetence? Think about this for just a second. For the state of Tennessee football. Are you still laughing at your own joke? Are you still red-faced with laughter laughing at your own joke?
I made eye contact with Guillermo, and then the laughter just escalated.
Listen to what I'm about to say.
I'm listening now.
About the Tennessee coaching search.
Okay.
They went out to hire a coach after Butch Jones produced probably one of the worst seasons in Tennessee history. Tennessee lost at home to Vanderbilt Saturday night by a couple of touchdowns. 4-8, I think they were.
Yeah, they should have called up Butch Jones and fired him again just because that
they really
Vanderbilt
should
loss.
have. They really should have. They should have left messages on his phone. Hey, you're still fired.
Double fired.
This one's on your record. That would be funny, right? If the interim coach said, I don't want this next to mine. That still is. Butch Jones was let go, and they hired Greg Schiano. Greg Schiano's resume is something that is not enticing in any way to just about anybody. And so you're looking for a head coach, and this is the scandal, and this is the height of incompetence. You ready? I need a coach. What's going to happen next? I'm going to hire the wrong one. I'm going to bring a bunch of signs on my campus about pedophilia that I don't want. I'm going to break the agreement and look like I don't know what I'm doing, and now I'm going to have to pay Greg Schiano some sort of money for coaching he's not going to be doing for me. Woo! I mean, that's how you do business.
Don Le Batard.
You want a more reasonable conversation without the name calling?
Well,
because that's how guys talk to each other.
No, I'm
Dan.
just wondering. No, that's not how guys talk to each other about everything. That's how guys talk to each other about sports. It's not, there's a beautiful woman. You're an idiot. She's not beautiful. It's not, I'm thinking about getting married. You're a bozo moron.
Right.
Like, it's not that.
Stugats.
But that's how I do it, and that's how me and my friends do it, bozo.
I mean, that was forced, what you just did there. Like that, just like, I mean, don't.
What?
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Monday Night Football tonight. 4-6 Texans travel to Baltimore to take on the 5-5 Ravens. 8:30 on ESPN. The NBA announced over the weekend Charlotte Hornets center Dwight Howard has been fined $35,000 for making an obscene gesture towards Cavs fans.
Wait a minute. What is the obscene gesture? Like, how did we describe on the radio?
He made a V, and he brought the V to his mouth, and then his tongue came out.
$35,000.
Thank you, Mike. That seemed that's very expensive for that.
And finally, according to psychologists, coloring is the best alternative to medication because it relieves tension and anxiety while unblocking your creative potential and memories of childhood. Huh. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Are you guys ready to do funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Hey, people, tell us what in the sport made you laugh hardest this weekend. It is a segment we call What Made You Laugh This Weekend. Ha, ha, ha!
Funniest thing from the sports weekend is brought to you by Office Depot. This season, take care of business by treating yourself to great tech and furniture from Office Depot, Office Max.
Chris, what is your nominee for funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Jimbo Fisher getting a Gatorade bath after beating a 4-6 Florida team.
and then headed to Texas A&M. All right, thanks, Jimbo. 6 loss, FSU. Guillermo, what about you?
During their 41-17 loss to the FIU Golden Panthers, #pause up, Western Kentucky's punter had the most disastrous fake punt I've ever seen. He decided to pull out halfway through then stumbled over himself, dropped the ball, was crawling around, kind of decided to hit the ball away from himself instead of falling on it. FIU picked it up and ran it back like 40 yards for a touchdown.
It was the funniest punt return situation of the weekend. Mike, no Roy today. He is out, maybe having a baby. We don't know. He just vanished.
He hasn't let us know.
We're assuming that he's because he's having a baby. He's really unusual,
Yes.
and he just he didn't show up for work today, and he's always here, and today he wasn't. And nobody can reach him, and so we assume it's because he's the father.
I asked him for a status update shortly before midnight last night, and I got back one word: hospital.
Okay.
And I haven't heard back since.
That's
He's
it.
gonna show up.
Didn't show up for work. Didn't tell anybody. Didn't call anybody. It's weird.
Next time he shows up, he'll just show up with the kid.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Next time we talk to Roy, that kind of judgment is going to be raising a child.
My funniest thing of the weekend was on Thanksgiving during the Chargers-Cowboys game. Unfortunately, Nick Novak got injured, their normal kicker, so the sideline showed the Chargers punter warming up as an emergency replacement. And his very first attempt at warming up, he kicks the ball into the stands because he missed the net completely.
Missed the net. That was funny.
Right.
That guy's kicking moment for eternity is going to be that on the sideline. It's something you'd write into like the movie The Replacements.
Yes, exactly.
What do you got, Stugat's funniest thing from the sports weekend?
After their big win against Alabama, Auburn fans wanted to storm the field. A problem for a few of them, though, is they got stuck in the hedges.
Yeah.
Have you seen the videos?
Yeah, I mean, people stuck in hedges is funny.
I read like they got a crazy fine from the SEC for storming the field. And it's $250,000 every time that happens.
Oh, they'll take care of that.
I know, but not the players. They'll take care of that.
Hey,
Right, but not the play.
hey, Sally, take care of that for me when you take the suitcases of cash over there and the fake grades. Give him the Cam Newton package.
There's just a box in every football office that says fake grades.
Yes.
And every football
Yes.
and basketball.
Chiswick left them behind.
I mean, seriously, what are we doing? Anybody wonder? Gene Chiswick's still a young man.
He's
national
He's going to
champion.
make a run here. Chiswick is going to make a return just like Lane Kiffin.
But what do you think is happening there, nation, when Gene Chiswick, a national champion head coach, who's still a relatively young man, is without a job? What do you think happened there?
You could get Chiswick and assistant head coach Larry Coker. You got two champions on your staff.
But with Coker, you understand. Chiswick, don't you think people think it's a little too hot? Really?
But has he been like he's not all the way through the cycle? He doesn't have. Are you saying he doesn't have a job?
It's amazing that
Because
Gene
Lane
Chiswick
Kiffin is all the
doesn't
way
have a
through
job.
the cycle. Like if you have a washer dryer at home, there's always a last stage of the cycle, and the last stage is FAU head coach.
Here's what I'm saying. Gene Chiswick isn't a head coach because people know something.
Right. I like Stugatz's game better, though. What is the thing on the dishwasher? What does it say? The last stage, Boca Raton. Yeah, there it is. That's what
You've completed the
You can come out clean. You were dirty when we put you in. When we spin you around a little bit, you come out clean. You score a lot of points on offense. Woo!
It's a Florida school.
Yeah.
Charlie Strong's doing the cycle.
That's right. All of these guys. I mean, you know, you see that terrible horror movie, A Cure for Wellness?
No.
No one did.
Okay, clearly not. Anyway, the movie, there's a sanatorium, whatever it is, somewhere in the wilderness that's, doing things to keep people young and stuff. That's going to be Florida for all these college football coaches. Like we are a cure for wellness here. Like Charlie Strong, Scott Frost, they're all coming down here. Mark Richt, it's like Fountain of Youth. Lane Kiffin, Butch Davis.
I think the cycle's getting stuck on old Butch because he's old Butch. If he were a younger man,
If he was young, but forget it. This is it for Butch. This is it.
Has to be the final stop. Has to be.
I think he's still climbing.
Yeah.
Tennessee's looking.
Florida State might be looking to.
I love the idea of Tennessee rehiring Lane Kiffin. I really do. Like the whole thing coming full circle in a way that'll make your face explode.
And the fan base getting excited
Yeah,
about it.
that's right. No, they're like sleeping outside for tickets on those burned mattresses. the mattresses they burned the last time he left.
Lane hasn't forgotten about it. He took a shot at Tennessee at the whole thing just on his Twitter right now, retweeting Dan Mullen's photo on a private plane on his way to Gainesville, and he asks, "Hey, did your school burn mattresses?"
He's great. He'll be on with us tomorrow at this time, I believe.
I enjoyed talking to him.
Lane.
And then he welcomed Dan Mullen to FAU's state.
I feel
I mean, he's the absolute.
I am loving the Lane train, man.
everybody hop aboard the lane train, baby. Can I get the sound here, please, of of a loon? Can you just play the sound of a loon, please?
Well, I'm just so upset with myself. There was a non-football injury. Too many damn people on the sideline. And a guy with a camera hit him in the knee. I'm going to find out who. And think about that. So I'm so angry right now. I got to move on. But did I let that happen? There's just someone on your freaking sideline, and now you hurt your quarterback. I'll find out who that was.
Do what?
He said a full-blown investigation. How is that not the funniest thing from the sports weekend? Urban Meyer's quarterback was hurt by a cameraman. Listen to him. He sounds like a total lunatic.
Well, I'm just so upset with myself. There was a non-football injury. Too many damn people on the sideline. And a guy with a camera hit him in the knee. I'm going to find out who. And think about that. So I'm so angry right now. I got to move on. But did I let that happen? There's just someone on your freaking sideline, and now you hurt your quarterback. I'll find out who that was.
He sounds like Liam Neeson in Taken.
I was just saying, I want to hear Liam Neeson read just that.
Good luck. I will find out. I just see this poor cameraman being interrogated. Like, what? Nobody set me up to it. Nobody tried. Just clumsy.
Dan wins the game this week.
Yeah,
that was great.
Well, hold on. Let me hear some more sound here, because this sound sheet had a lot of stuff on it that I wanted to get to and didn't. So let's just knock them off one after another here. Can I knock off that sound from the weekend with Bill Walton discussing Stugatz? Do you think I can knock off that sound with Bill Walton discussing bridges?
Let's find out.
Michigan State hasn't even needed Miles Bridges, who is not, I'm told, related to Lloyd or Bo or Bill, the Bridge School, the Bridge Benefit Concert, the St. John's Bridge, or the Golden Gate Bridge.
There's a foul inside, and it's on Michigan State and Tillman.
I love bridges. It's really the ultimate tool, because it allows you to get someplace you can't get on your own.
There's a lot of bridges here in Portland as well.
12 between the Willamette Falls and the St. John's Bridge on the north, including the Tillicum Bridge, which is the largest, longest non-car bridge in America.
I mean, it's close, man. And you got to give him credit, because when you start going off on bridges, you better know your bridges, and he knew his bridges.
Yeah, well, it sounded a little rehearsed. He knew a little too quickly how many bridges there were in Portland. 12.
How many bugles do you think he put in his mouth right after he said that?
Well, Gary, put this on the poll. Do the play-by-play guys hate Walton? Just question mark. Now, hold on, Mike. I want an assortment of sound here. So play again the Broncos-Raiders fight as it was brought to you by 95.7 The Game. Here is the appalled announcers.
He's able to trip him up, and Marshawn with a good run. Now there's a fight over on the Broncos sideline. Michael Crabtree is fighting with Aqib Talib. Aqib Talib, I think, went at Michael Crabtree. It's a brawl over on the Broncos sideline, and they are really going at it. They are throwing punches here. Multiple guys are swinging, and officials also.
And now they're still going after Michael Crabtree.
Now they're going after Crabtree. Is fighting Aqib Talib. Crabtree's got his helmet off. They're all going to be ejected, Tom. Right. They're all going to be kicked out. Crabtree throwing punches, going after Talib. This has become a street fight. What is going on?
Hold on, Mike. In the middle of that, they went to their sideline reporter, Tom, whose contribution to that segment was a sound that I think is the only sound that he made during the entire thing, and it was just a sound of bewilderment. So I want you to hear this again, and I want you to listen in the middle when they go to the sideline reporter, Tom, and I want you to listen to his report from the middle of that.
He's able to trip him up, and Marshawn with a good run. Now there's a fight over on the Broncos sideline. Michael Crabtree is fighting with Aqib Talib. Aqib Talib, I think, went at Michael Crabtree. It's a brawl over on the Broncos sideline, and they are really going at it. They are throwing punches here. Multiple guys are swinging, and officials also.
And now they're still going after Michael Crabtree.
Crabtree with
now
his
they're going
helmet
after
off
Crabtree.
is fighting Aqib Talib. Crabtree's got his helmet off. They're all going to be ejected, Tom.
What?
They're all going to be kicked out. Crabtree throwing punches, going after
That's
Talib.
a different voice.
This has
That's
become a
Tom,
street fight.
and his contribution was
going
I want that isolated. I want
isolated. I want to come back with it. Isolated.
Look at me now. I'm getting paper.
Allison, get me Tom.
Don Le Batard.
Texter writes in, you've lost your mojo, Dan. The show's just not fun anymore. I'm sorry.
Stugats.
That stinks. That's a stinky thing to learn via text. Like, I'm just hanging out here. I'm doing the show. I feel like I have my mojo. Then that text comes in and it's gone. What mojo did we ever have, by the way?
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
We have learned during the break that the other voice there getting drowned during the riot in Oakland was Tom Flores. Super Bowl champion Tom Flores was the one who just muttered whatever sound that was. I don't know if you have it there, Mike, or not, but you could just fire it off.
What?
So I want to get Allison now to get Tom Flores for us. This was Stugats' idea.
Yeah.
In the next 5 minutes to ask him what he was going to say.
What?
I want to hear what his thoughts actually were on that fight. Stugats, what do you got for us in the way of polls?
The Twitter poll is brought to you by Upside.com, giving all business travelers the gift of a better travel experience this holiday season. Check them out today at Upside.com. At Le Batard Show on Twitter. Is Saban allowing a kid to get on the plane shirtless?
Mark Richt allows that at Miami.
76% of the audience said no. Was Michael Crabtree uncomfortable sitting next to that scarecrow who owns the Raiders? 83% of the audience said yes. Does Mike Tomlin think he's in the military? 80% said yes.
Splash.
Can a team of 3 and only 3 NBA starters win the NCAA tournament?
That's a great question. We didn't, you know what? We didn't do that enough today.
We need to roundtable some people about it.
Yeah,
I think.
we need to do that tomorrow. Yes. Alabama played Avery Johnson's Alabama team. Everyone got ejected, and they were playing with 3 players against 5 at the end.
66% of the audience said yes. Would you be okay with the NBA having a power play? That's a great idea by you. It really is. 5-on-4 for 2 minutes?
Only one flagrant foul's make an appearance.
So much fun. 74% of the audience said yes. Would a team of only LeBron, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid win the NCAA tournament? 77% of the audience said yes.
Oh, so they like the team we made.
Yes. Have you called the L.A. Chargers the San Diego Chargers this season? 85% of the audience said yes.
Losers.
Did Mike Greenberg wake up at 6 a.m. to listen to Golic and Wingo?
I don't know what to explain. I don't know how to explain what I'm watching on my television right now, where there's a replay of Golic and Wingo on the television, but it feels sort of like I can't hear anything. I'm just looking at it, but it feels, because I'm used to looking up and seeing Greenberg and Golic there, it feels like watching a new couple sort of be on a first date comparatively, and I'm just looking out of the corner of my eye here. Even though Trey and Mike have worked together before,
yes, they have.
You're used to seeing, it's like seeing a buddy of yours. He's been married to a good friend of yours for 25 years. It's like seeing that buddy out on a date.
Also, a little jarring, Golic being on the left side now.
Yeah.
Has he been eyeing that chair for several years now?
The power seat? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's like a new couple in a new house. It's all of it.
It's new sex, really. Let's get right to it. It's new sex.
Yeah.
It's new sex, and we've got an issue. Somebody doesn't like to be touched there. All right, go ahead.
Anyway, 52% of the audience said yes. Greeny did wake up to listen to Golic and Wingo at 6 a.m. this morning. The Nathan Peterman experiment. bad prog rock band or bad horror movie? I think Mike was, I know Mike was right. 56% of the audience said bad prog rock band.
No!
It's an excellent contribution,
the Nathan
Mike.
Peterman experiment is something that happens in a building that gets, closed off, quarantined.
Which video is worse, Baker Mayfield's vigorous tug or Quentin Flowers' pleasure release?
That's a great jam band. Quentin Flowers' pleasure release? Holy bleep. I'd go and sit in a night drinking with those people.
68% of the audience said Quentin Flowers. Should Greg Schiano get the full buyout? 60% of the audience said yes. Do the play-by-play guys hate Bill Walton? 66% of the audience said yes. Those are the polls.
The Bridges, man. Lloyd Bridges. Did he throw a Lloyd Bridges? Bo Bridges.
I miss Lloyd Bridges.
You miss him?
Yeah. Funny. Hot shots, right?
Yeah.
Do you realize that during the break, Stugatz was missing Tom Flores before we told him
off.
I thought he wasn't with us anymore.
Allison, are you going to be able to get
5 seconds, Allison. Tom Flores joins us now on ESPN Radio. Tom, what were you going to say?
What?